What's this? Oh, that's dusty. This doesn't feel right. That feels better. All right, let's open this up. All right, that's pretty cool. It's Matt from The Random Maker, and today we're gonna be solving the mystery of why these dado blades right here should be in your woodworking shop. Okay, love it. Doesn't feel right. Hang on. Okay, that feels better. We are gonna be talking about dado blades. Now, I know some people in the comments below are going to say, Matt, all of this you're about to show us can be done with a router. True, I'm not going to deny that. If you have a tracer bit or anything like that. Now, does that mean routers are useless? No, I am not above a router. So let's explore dado blades and why they are useful. Right here is everything you're going to be needing to use these dado blades. We have a modified throat for these because my regular throat plate, face plate, will not accommodate the thickness of the dado blades, so I have a proper one for my table saw. Some people would say wood. When it comes to this, I'd like to use manufactured specific guards. That's just my preference. Next, we are going to have a kit. Now, as you can see, this kit is new. For a long time, I would borrow a kit from a buddy, so I decided to get my own. This is not the top of the line set, but it is actually a pretty decent set. When you pay more, hopefully you're getting a better quality product. Every dado blade kit comes with a couple things, okay? The two big things are you're gonna have two blades, and these are not regular table saw blades. If you look on the inside, they actually have these little inner raised notches. What these notches are for is how dado blades work is we are going to take two table saw blades, well, dado table saw blades, and in between them, or to be fair, you can cut with just the two blades if you want a 1/4 of an inch, you're going to put these chipper blades in between them. Now, what that is going to do is it is going to allow you to cut basically grooves and channels out. Now, let me push that back. What these raises are for is if they didn't have this raise, when you tighten it all together, you might put pressure depending where you place these teeth. I'm going to show you how I do it to, even if this didn't have the raise, still good practice. What they're designed to do is when you tighten it, if this chipper blade was putting pressure on these teeth, there's a good chance it's going to chip or just cause pressure, which could cause bad things to happen. So when you're setting up the dado blades, you want to make sure both of these inner raises are against each other. And so when I even store the blades, that is how I store them. So if I can actually slide these across, and you notice the teeth, even with the wax protective layer, because this is actually a fresh set, it does not grind and you don't hear anything. And that is a very good thing. So it is a less chance to do any damage. So that's there. Now the next thing, and depending on how extensive your kit is gonna have varying degrees. I've seen all different, so I'm not gonna make any claim there, is you're gonna have your chipper teeth. These teeth are what you're going to add in between these blades to get the different thicknesses. So it's pretty simple, okay? So my kit comes with a 1/4 inch, 2/8 bits, and 1/16. So the two saw blades are 1/4 of an inch. That's the smallest I can do. And then I can do varying degrees, and you can stack multiple chipper blades. I always worry about how much weight and pressure. Please read your manufacturer specifications on this. A lot of times with tools, I cannot give you a blanket answer for everything. The next thing this set comes with is these shims. So if the blades or something is not working perfectly, you can actually put these shims in, and it also comes with a different collar that fits on table saws. It's a standard, so it works really well there, but these particular shims allow you, if your cut is out that like fractions of an inch, you can use these to get it where you want to go. So for example, if you were trying to get some plywood or something to fit into a groove and it's just a little tight, you're not gonna plane or sand plywood to fit, you can just put these shims in, and it's such a small amount that the blades and chipper teeth are gonna clear out the channel. How about we go over the table saw and show you what we're going to be doing. Let's actually get to installing dado blades here. So one of the first things I am going to do right now is, well, I've actually already done it just to save, is unplug the table saw. I can turn this off and on, and the table saw is completely de-energized. Never put your hands in with the chance of a turn on. Next, I'm going to remove all of these guards. Now, one of the reasons some people don't prefer dado blades is very simple. You have to keep the guards and all this stuff off the dado blades, and I can understand why it's scary. Unfortunately, it is kind of a case. So I'm gonna have to remove everything there. And yeah, so we removed all this. I will have to get rid of my riving knife later. Next step, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to raise my table saw blade, because the higher it is with this saw, the easier it is for me to change the blade. What I'm gonna do now is very simple. I'm gonna lower the riving knife. Okay, so in my setup, it's pretty easy. I just pull this little lever, wiggle this out, and push down. I let the knives set into their hidden position, relock this down. Now, what I am gonna do is remove the old blade. Now, I could go get like a socket or, wrench, but the wrench that comes with my table saw is actually pretty good. What I'm going to do here on my saw, as you can probably see, there's going to be like a video of me this close up right there. There is a red button that is going to lock my blade in. So I'm going to pull this up, and I'm going to move the table saw. Be careful. My blade is sharp. If you notice, I'm pinching, leaving lots of room as evident. I'm never going to put my skin on the blade and grab, because it is very dangerous. My particular saw, I could actually leave the riving knife up as a guard, but I've done this quite a few times. The lefty-loosey is against the direction of the tooth blade. Just be careful is what I'm saying. There is a big nut here, and what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put my finger, this is a trick from my old shop teacher from high school. Thanks, John. I'm gonna take my middle finger, and I'm actually gonna put it on the bolt. And what that's, or pointer finger, depends on your comfort level. With this saw, it's pointer, bigger blades. When I have to go down further, I usually use my middle finger. And all I'm gonna do is unwind the screw, because it's going to come off. I don't have to try and catch it. It's just going to land on my finger. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna remove the plate. Now, the plate is a piece, if you saw in that little pack with the shims, is a part that we are actually going to use a different one. What I'm going to do is very carefully slide my table saw blade off, and I am not gonna put it down on the table. I don't want metal. You notice that wooden box that the dado blades came in? That is a very good reason why they're doing that. I'm gonna take my table saw blade, I'm gonna put it on a wooden work table so that there will be no damage. We now have this empty right here. We're gonna be making a 1/2 inch cut groove, chamfer, whatever the name you wanna call it. We've now cleared everything out of here, as you can see, probably in some video around, I don't know where V is gonna put it. We're gonna show you how to install the dado blade. So first things first. Now, I'm being a little cautious having this table behind me, but it's not that hard there. So what we're gonna need is, number one, we're gonna need the new nut we're gonna be using. This bolt on the table saw is longer, okay? It's meant to accept dado blades, but it's not infinitely long. We are gonna be doing a 1/2 inch cut. So I'm gonna use my 2 blades and the 1/4 inch chipping blade, okay? And it is very simple how we're gonna install these. So I'm gonna put the chipping blade there back onto the wood. So I'm going to have the teeth facing me, okay? Next, I wanna make sure both the grooves are facing each other. So what I'm going to do is very simple. I'm gonna put this blade down. I'm gonna be very careful. I'm gonna slide it in, and you can see the writing's away. And to be honest, these blades even have directions on where to put them. But we can see the chamfer or the step right there, blades facing me. Next is my chipping blade. Now, here's the big thing about the chipping blades. Now this chamfer is going to protect these other teeth, but I still like to make sure that my teeth are going to go in between the other teeth. Okay, it's just a good practice. Now, if you're using multiple teeth, you'd want to make an X. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the other blade on top. Now, if I put this collar on and the bolt, I can cover the screw or nut is going to actually go past the nut. And that is one thing. I want to make sure my screw that is holding all the pressure on these is fully engaged. If I go past two teeth with this one, when I put my bolt on, I can see threads sticking out, which means this screw is fully engaged. If I start putting too many blades on, there's not going to be as many teeth engaged. Eventually, like, I have enough blades and teeth in there that I can actually like barely put this nut on. I did take a look and it is possible. I don't want to play that game. I want every one of these teeth engaged. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the nut actually on my finger. I'm going to put my finger on the bolt and I'm going to push with my other two fingers, and I'm just going to spin it with my middle finger staying on the screw. Now what that does is it makes it so I can't drop the nut, and as soon as it grabs, you're good to go. I can see threads, which means all of my bolt is entirely engaged. Before I tighten it, I am going to just spread out these teeth a little bit with the chipping knife in. Now the outside two can't really be that spread out because of the chipping knife if I want it there, but we now have 1/4 inch plus 1/4 inch. So this is a 1/4 inch chipping blade, 2 1/8 inch blades, 1/4 inch plus 1/4 is 1/2 inch. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to tighten this up. Okay, again, what I'm going to do is spin the blade again towards me, so I'm not like running a chance. And what I'm going to do here is this time I have to go against the teeth, but you're not going to crank it too hard. And I'm just going to give it a quick boom. I'm not going as hard as I can because as this blade is going this way, it's actually tightening on the bolt. And that means it'll tighten itself so the blades are in place. Okay, so I can see threads on my nut. The last step we have to do is this. We have to put the throat plate on. Now, this is why I use a manufacturer Dado blade throat. Okay, now it is not a perfect fit, unfortunately. The reason for that is this is built to accommodate more blade. When it comes to safety, I like to buy manufacturer, even if they overprice it. Just makes me feel a little better because it was designed by the people who made this table saw. To be fair, this table saw has been a reliable workhorse for me, so I have faith in their engineering. Okay, now the problem with this is though, there is a little bit of gaps that if I was doing incredibly fine woodworking, there is a chance of tear out. Some people, what they will do is you can buy essentially sacrificable throat plates that you actually raise the table saw blade through, and then it's a perfect fit. In our case right here, what I'm gonna do is this. Let's cut some wood. I just want to take a quick time out here and say this. If you like this video, why don't you do us a favor, hit the like button below. If you want to see more content, tutorials, projects, and random projects from the Random Maker, hit the subscribe button if you have any project that you want to see or any processes you want to learn about. And it does not have to be woodwork. We've just been on a woodwork kick because, let's be honest, the YouTube algorithm doesn't like random. Okay, so let's get back actually to the video. Whoop.
Okay, you can see here I am just checking the depth of the cut, and I'm using a miter gauge to do this. Now, this is commonly used to knock just the ends off. I also want you to watch that I'm not using a fence. That is on purpose to not have a double fence situation, which can be incredibly dangerous. There are many ways to check your depth of cut, but I've always found pencil works. And notice I pull the wood back as I back pull so that the blades are not touching it. Now, here you can see I am using a fence, and unfortunately I didn't really think of the camera that well, but as you can see here, I'm using 2 push sticks, and this is to make sure that the wood does not ride up, because unfortunately with the Dado blades, I cannot use any of my normal splitters and all that. And notice I'm not actually holding the wood on the side, I'm just using it to keep it down so it's steady. And that is how I use 2 push sticks.
Now, you can see here, we have a lovely groove, and you can also see on the corner that when these line up, they make a perfect corner cut, or we can put grooves right in the middle. Dado blades are an incredibly useful tool, and they are something that are not the end all be all, but they are something you should take a look at, have in the back of your head to see if that's a process you're gonna use in your future projects. Well, you know what? I think we're about done with this video. Until next time, this is Matt from The Random Maker saying, let's get making.